Everyone dreams of the day they'll finally be able to stop working, relax, enjoy life, travel, and spend time with family without constant financial stress. That's the retirement ideal most people picture, a peaceful period with financial security and plenty of free time. But when we look at the American reality, the picture looks very different. Most retirees rely heavily on Social Security, and instead of peace of mind, they struggle just to pay bills, cover rent, or afford health care. The harsh truth is this: for millions of Americans, retirement isn't the reward after decades of work. It's the start of a new battle. Many contribute for 30 or 40 years, believing they'll have a decent income later, only to discover that their Social Security check averages about $2,000 a month. And let's be honest, can you live with dignity on that amount? Maybe in a small town, if you own your home outright and stay healthy. But in most cases, especially in larger cities, or if you're paying rent and medical costs, that barely covers the basics. Here's the point most people don't realize. Social Security was never designed to be your only source of income. It was always meant to be a supplement. But because of poor planning, lack of financial education, and the illusion that the government will handle everything, most people end up retiring with nothing beyond that monthly check. And that turns old age into a stage of stress, anxiety, and often dependence on children. Why do so many fall into this trap? First, because we're told all our lives that if we work, contribute, and wait, everything will be fine. But no one explains that the benefit doesn't keep up with the real cost of living. Second, because most people don't prepare financially while they're working. They live on autopilot. Earn, spend, go into debt, repeat. When retirement comes, they realize they've built nothing beyond Social Security. That's why so many seniors keep working after retirement, as cashiers, drivers, or taking odd jobs just to make ends meet. And here's another factor. Expenses change in retirement. Sure, you might save on commuting or mortgage payments, but healthcare costs climb fast. Even with Medicare, prescriptions, treatments, and specialist visits can take a huge bite out of your budget. That's why so many retirees find themselves choosing between buying groceries or filling prescriptions. Now, think about this. Do you really want to reach 65 or 70 and end up in that situation? After a lifetime of work, trapped by a check that barely covers the basics? Depending on your kids, loans, or handouts. That's what happens when you rely only on Social Security. But here's the good news. It doesn't have to be that way. The difference between struggling and living with dignity comes down to the choices you make today. It doesn't matter if you earn a lot or a little. What matters is that you start preparing. Retirement isn't about some magical number of millions in the bank. It's about building a monthly income that supports the lifestyle you want. If you know you'll need $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 a month to live comfortably, that's the number you should aim for. Social Security will cover part of it, but the rest has to come from your preparation. So how do you build that? There are many paths. You can invest in retirement accounts like a 401k or an IRA, buy real estate or REITs for rental income, invest in dividend-paying funds, or even start a small business. You can create side hustles that continue generating income later in life. The key is not settling for the minimum, because if you settle for the minimum, that's exactly what you'll get. Picture 3 people. The first never saved a dime, relied only on Social Security, and retires with about $2,000 a month. They rent, need medication, and sometimes help out grandkids. The result? Constant financial stress. The second, even on a modest income, saved a little each month. They invested simply, let compound interest work, and now, on top of Social Security, they have an extra $2,000 to $3,000 in monthly income. Not a fortune, but enough to stay independent and live with dignity. And then there's a third person, someone who built multiple income streams over their life. Renting out a spare room, running a small online shop, investing in dividend-paying funds. They retire with several sources of income. While the first is stuck with only Social Security and the second has one complement, the third enjoys real security because they don't depend on a single paycheck. That's the power of planning ahead. Think about it. Planning your retirement is like running a marathon. You can't just sprint at the finish line. You need to prepare long before. Those who start early can run at an easy pace, enjoy the journey, and finish strong. Those who wait until the last minute have to sprint desperately, burn out, and rarely finish well. Money works the same way. The earlier you start saving, even small amounts, the easier it gets and the bigger the results. So let me ask you, when you picture your retirement, what do you see? Traveling, enjoying your grandkids, relaxing, or standing in line at the bank, applying for another loan? It may sound harsh, but that's the reality for millions of Americans today. And the difference between those two futures comes down to one word: preparation. And it's not just about numbers, it's about quality of life. If you reach old age unprepared, every decision feels like a burden. Can I eat out tonight? Can I afford this prescription? Will there be enough left to help my family? But if you've planned, every decision becomes freedom. Freedom to choose where to go, what to do, how to spend your time. That's what it means to live with dignity. Want a clearer picture? Think about Mr. John and Mrs. Mary. John worked his whole life, but never saved. He relied only on Social Security. Today, he gets the minimum, rents an apartment, and spends his days stressed about bills. Mary, on the other hand, earned about the same, but always set aside a little. She invested slowly, but consistently. Now, along with Social Security, she has extra income that gives her comfort. While John counts pennies at the end of the month, Mary can travel, visit her grandkids, and live with dignity. Two paths, two choices. Which one will you take? And don't forget, life doesn't stop just because you retire. Dreams still exist. You'll want to travel, see new places, maybe help your kids and grandkids, or finally pursue that project you always put off. If your income is just the minimum, those dreams vanish. But if you've prepared, they stay alive, because you're not stuck relying on the bare minimum. Here's the bottom line. Living well in retirement isn't just about money, it's about freedom. Freedom to control your time, to live without fear, to choose how you spend your days. That freedom has no price, but it must be built. No one will hand it to you. So here's the final reflection. Time will pass no matter what. The question is whether you'll arrive prepared or unprepared. You can spend your golden years counting pennies, or you can enjoy life with dignity. That choice doesn't start in the future. It starts today. Every dollar you waste carelessly, every unnecessary debt you take on, that's a burden your future self will carry. But every dollar you save, every conscious decision you make, is a gift you give yourself 20 or 30 years from now. Think about it. Basically, that was the video. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe to the channel, leave a like, and share it with someone who might find it helpful. At the end of this video, I'll also leave some other videos about financial organization that can help you out. See you next time.